Chair now recognizes Mr. Clyde from Georgia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for waving me on. I appreciate that very much. Postmaster General DeJoy, I'm not here to blast you, okay? I'm here to try to make things better as best we possibly can. But first, I want to talk about a little bit of frustration that have come from the folks in my district, and so you'll just have to bear with me just a moment, sir. All right. As you can see in this chart behind me, when the consolidation of the Palmetto facility in Georgia occurred, postal delivery rates went from over 80% down to 36%, and now up, as of July, the last date I personally have, we're now up at about 76%. So from the bottom at 36%, you know, going up to 76%, that's a 40% increase, and thank you for putting resources into that effort. We highlighted it, and it's getting better. I appreciate that. Back in August, I wrote a letter to you when things were still not where they should be, and it talked about the Postal Regulatory Commission and the fact that in this entire consolidation effect or effort, we hadn't seen the post office reach out to the PRC to get an advisory opinion. Now, I will tell you that my letter went to you directly on August the 13th, okay? By chance, did you read that letter?
I don't remember, sir.
Okay, all right.
A lot of letters.
Well, I will commend you on this. We got a reply on August the 22nd. I don't think any agency has ever replied to Congress that quickly, and so thank you for that. Now, my concern, though, is that the person who actually signed the letter, the reply, was Mr. Scott Kennedy, the government relations representative, and not yourself. I would much have preferred your signature on this response, but it talks about acknowledging that a Postal Regulatory Commission advisory opinion was not sought, okay, and that they would be doing that going forward. Do you find, I mean, is a Postal Regulatory Commission opinion, is that important to the post office?
It's required.
Yes, it is. You're right.
We think we're going to have some significant changes in service on a national basis.
Okay.
This was not intended to be a significant change of service, as consequential as it became locally, but even such, it was not on a national basis. It would not. I put a $500 million plant in Georgia. We had 10. I have 18,000 workers in Georgia that work in some of the worst facilities I've ever seen in my life, and I've been in a lot of places around the world looking at facilities. And this is what we intended to try and fix. Mm-hmm. And we had significant issues unrelated to the plant, and it was awful. I agree. But in the long run, we will have great service in all of Georgia because we're touching 6 or 7 different plants down there.
Okay. Do most post offices still have a slot that say local mail only, and is that mail itself processed at that post office for local delivery?
No post offices actually, other than an election and extraordinary measures. All mail that's collected at post offices go to someplace else to be processed.
Okay, all right. This is a text message from one of my constituents directly to me, and it says, is there anyone in your group of folks that can put a knot in the tail of the Postal Service about the poorest possible service being provided to us? I cannot get a bill paid or bills received on my end on time for anything in the world. He says, I'm not sure what the issue is. We and many others around here get our bills late. Our payments we make don't show up to the places we mail to, and we personally get rent checks that are mailed to us from across town that will show up a month late. It's absolutely terrible. Not just a small issue, but huge. Even our tax commissioner said to pay taxes online because of the issues with the mail. All right, and so I'm trying to figure out a way that local mail can be delivered locally where it doesn't take a month to get local mail. And I would like your input as to how we can make sure that happens.
Georgia has had especially in the Atlanta area, has had the worst service in the Postal Service for many years, which is one of the reasons why We chose to, it was a growing state, we chose to put the significant investment in this particular area. As part of this transition, we're having problems, but we're also cleaning up a lot of those types of things that were happening in these 10 separate facilities and so forth. We are very committed. I am very committed to getting, Georgia, all these locations to follow the service standards that we're seeking now to change, because the service standards that we have are not achievable for the dollars that we have to spend. And in fact, I think they're kind of ridiculous. We're making requests that will, and my expectation is that we will have reliable mail service in the area, and we will also have improved retail operations with expanded services in the retail centers that we have, throughout the nation. This is a big makeover, both not only in terms of facilities and infrastructure, in terms of schedules and how we route mail and so forth, and even in the expectations of our people. We did things very randomly. Now we're asking everyone to work a specific function in a specific manner, to a specific schedule, to a specific productivity rate. That is a big change to put on an organization.
Well, thank you for that. I personally visited the Postal Center in Palmetto, and I saw the plan of all the various different multiple postal offices or postal buildings consolidated into one. But look forward to working with the Postal Service to make sure that it meets that statutory requirement up here of 93%. Thank you, sir. And I yield back.
Gentleman's time has expired. Chair